Om Namo Narayanaya. We are continuing the first chapter of the third part of the Kama Sutra. The chapter is called On Marriage. It says, the following also should be avoided. One who is kept concealed, one who has an ill-sounding name. This is talking about women to be avoided. One who has her nose depressed, one who has a nostril turned up, one who is formed like a male, one who is bent down, one who has crooked thighs, one who has a projecting forehead, one who has a bald head, one who does not like purity, one who has been polluted by another, who is affected with the goma, one who is disfigured in any way, one who has fully arrived at puberty, one who is a friend, one who is a younger sister, one who is a Varshakari. In the same way, a girl who is called by the name of one of the 27 stars, or by the name of a tree or of a river, is considered worthless, as also a girl whose name ends in R or L. But some others say that prosperity is gained only by marrying that girl to whom one becomes attached, and that therefore no other girl but the one who is loved should be married by anyone. When a girl becomes marriageable, her parents should dress her smartly and should place her where she can be easily seen by all. Every afternoon, having dressed her and decorated her in a becoming manner, they should send her with her female companions to sports, sacrifices, and marriage ceremonies, and thus show her to advantage in society, because she is a kind of merchandise. They should also receive with kind words and signs of friendliness those of an auspicious appearance who may come accompanied by their friends and relations for the purpose of marrying their daughter, and under some pretext or other, having first dressed her becomingly, should then present her to them. After this, they should await the pleasure of fortune, and with this object should appoint a future day on which a determination could be come to with regard to their daughter's marriage. On this occasion, when the persons have come, the parents of the girl should ask them to bathe and dine, and should say everything will take place at the proper time, and should then comply with the request, but should settle the matter later. When a girl is thus acquired, either according to the custom of the country or according to her own desire, the man should marry her in accordance with the precepts of the Holy Writ, according to one of the 4 kinds of marriage. Thus ends marriage. There are also some verses on the subject as follows. Amusement in society, such as completing verses begun by others, marriages and auspicious ceremonies, should be carried on neither with superiors nor inferiors, but with equals. That should be known as a high connection, when a man, after marrying a girl, has to serve her and her relations afterwards like a servant, and such a connection is censored by the good. On the other hand, that reproachable connection, where a man, together with his relations, lords it over his wife, is called a low connection by the wise. But when both the man and the woman afford mutual pleasures to each other, when the relatives on both sides pay respect to one another, such is called a connection in the proper sense of the word. Therefore a man should contract neither a high connection by which he is obliged to bow down afterwards to his kinsmen, nor a low connection which is universally reprehended by all. Thus ends this chapter.